The reason that I got sober is not the same reason that I stay sober. I mean, several of the reasons are the same, and I don't ever want to be back at the place that I was when I was a heavy drinker. But since getting sober, I have learned all the health benefits of sobriety and really all the health detriments of consuming any amount of alcohol. And it is shocking. I mean, the facts that I'm going to share with you guys in today's episode will scare you straight if you're not already sober. It is insane how bad alcohol is for you, and yet how accepted it is in society. It's actually mind-blowing. So I got sober because essentially, I hate using this word, but essentially I was addicted to alcohol, let's be frank, and I needed to get sober, or else my life was headed a really, really dark and bad direction. But the reason that I stay sober goes so much further beyond that. I stay sober because I love my life now and I want to live a long, happy life. I don't want to literally drink myself to death. So, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the intense health hits that alcohol has on your body. It's going to get deep, it's going to get dark. Okay, so if this is a touchy subject for you, you may not want to listen to this one. Or maybe you should listen to this one. I don't know. Unfortunately, so many people in this world have lost somebody due to alcohol, whether they know it or not, which is the sad part, because a lot of people do not want to put the blame on alcohol when it's always been alcohol. Yeah. So with that said, we're just going to be getting into some pretty hard-hitting facts and numbers during this episode. So if that's something you're comfortable with, I think you will be mind blown at a lot of these. I know I was. It's crazy that this is not more talked about, and just buckle up because we're going into it. We're diving in head first. So let's get right into today's episode. Welcome to the Sober Scoop. This is a judgment-free zone where we talk about how to get sober and stay sober. You're not alone. I hope you feel seen. Quitting alcohol is the best decision I've ever made. Number one, let's hit the ground running. We've got alcohol is a carcinogen. I think people in the sobriety community know this by now. I don't think everyone knows this. I do not think it's common knowledge that alcohol causes cancer. And it is that plain and simple. It's not, if you really, really overdrink, there's a slight chance that you might develop some sort of cancer. Like, alcohol causes cancer. And we as a society don't know what causes cancer. It just happens to the unlucky people. Some of them have causes like lung cancer from smoking cigarettes, mostly. And then it's like certain cancers that are so closely linked to alcohol, we just say, crazy that happened by chance. You're so unlucky. Alcohol causes cancer. International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC, classifies ethanol in alcoholic beverages as a Group 1 carcinogen, meaning there is sufficient evidence it causes cancer in humans. Globally, in 2020, alcohol use was estimated to have caused 740,000 new cancer cases, 4% of all new cancer cases worldwide. Even just one drink per day increases the risk of breast cancer in women, compared to those who drink less than one drink a week. Interesting that I would have never connected alcohol and breast cancer. Your brain goes to liver cancer, mouth and throat cancer. It doesn't necessarily go to breast cancer, so that's very interesting. And guys, it's a Group 1 carcinogen. It's the same as asbestos and cigarettes, or nicotine. The same. It's in the same category as those. But we just drink it casually, like every day after work or out with friends to celebrate. Let's all go off ourselves at the bar. You know, like, cheers. Cheers to cancer. It's so weird. And I do think that in not even that many more years, maybe 20 years, maybe 30 years, we will look at alcohol as that. It will be like, why would we go out and celebrate somebody's birthday together by consuming a level or a group 1 carcinogen? That doesn't sound like fun. That's not celebration. You're not going to have many more trips around the sun if you're behaving like that. It's crazy. And guys, I'm not trying to scare people away, okay? Like, I don't know. Maybe I am trying to scare people away. It's just like, I don't know. For me, it just hammers it in a little more. So, like, if you are on a sober journey and you're like, am I doing the right thing? Like, I miss alcohol. I kind of wish I could participate in those happy hours with my coworkers. Like, if you are just thinking about some things that you miss about alcohol, what I'm hoping that this episode does is just show you that you do not need alcohol. Even if you think like, oh, I could have a drink, like I'm healed, I don't have an alcohol problem anymore. What I hope that this episode will do is tell you that you don't even want that drink. Even if you think that you could consume an alcoholic beverage and be fine, like, that's all crossed our minds, right? I think that I could probably have one glass of wine and then say, no, I don't want to do that anymore, and stop. I think that I have the power to do that. I would never, but you know, that thought crosses a lot of sober people's minds. And what I hope that this episode does is just tell you, like, but no, even if you could, why would you want to? That's what I'm hoping. So I'm not trying to be like the big scary, alcohol is so horrible for you, never drink it ever. Although if it does that, then fine. But, you know, there are people who have a quote unquote healthy relationship with alcohol, and, you know, they drink once every couple weeks on a special occasion. Okay, they're probably fine. But as we'll see later in this episode, apparently there's no healthy amount of alcohol to consume. But anyway, I'm rambling a little bit. I'm just trying to say that, like, even if you think that you could drink alcohol or you like miss certain things about alcohol, you don't want it anyway because it's really, really bad for you. And it causes a lot of really awful things in our bodies. So let's move on to number 2. Sorry for rambling. Number 2. Oh, yep, just as I said. No amount of alcohol is quote unquote good for you / no safe level. A large global study found that in 2016, nearly 3 million deaths worldwide were attributed to alcohol use. That's a lot. The World Health Organization states we cannot talk about a so-called safe level of alcohol use. The risk to a drinker's health starts from the first drop of any alcoholic beverage. I mean, if you think about it, you're doing some damage, right? Like, you are consuming poison. Your liver's going to be working overtime. Even if you just have a glass of wine, it's like, what is this foreign substance in my body? It's not something the human body was designed to consume. And people ask me all the time, like, how many drinks was I drinking when I had a drinking problem? And I think it's because they want to compare it to themselves and say, like, do I have a problem or is my amount okay? Like, is only 7 beers a day okay? Because this girl drank 15, so I'm not as bad as her. You know, I think everyone wants to compare and see if they're in that safe level. But newsflash, there's no safe level. So, number 3, it disrupts your brain chemistry, mood, and mental health. I mean, we're talking dementia and Alzheimer's and these mental diseases that we don't know the cause of. And of course, same as cancer, sometimes people are going to just get unlucky. I think that's a fact. I mean, I know this is a fictional character, okay? But like in Breaking Bad, he didn't smoke any cigarettes and he got lung cancer. So, I mean, it could be stuff that's in our food, but then it's the lungs. I don't know. Maybe exposed to some chemicals. I mean, part of me thinks there's always a cause, but part of me thinks there are some people who are just simply unlucky in this world, and that is really quite sad. But yeah, things like Alzheimer's where we're like, we don't know what causes it. I'm sure eventually we will. And alcohol let's just say it doesn't help. Even if there's no direct link, like alcohol use causes Alzheimer's, you can't say that. But I bet a lot of people with Alzheimer's were drinkers. I don't know. And then we're talking, obviously, the hit that alcohol has on your mental health in general. Like, I know just from personal experience, alcohol made my ADHD symptoms worse and like harder to quit drinking because I used it to self-medicate. And every day that I was drinking, it was helping Band-Aid fix the ADHD symptoms, but it was making the ADHD worse in the end because alcohol is just such a frequent dopamine hit that you get used to that. Your impulse control is gone. Alcohol is not good for your mental health. And although I'm not super understanding this study, I'm going to try to read it to you guys so maybe you'll understand it. Okay, let's see. Some large meta-analyses show no significant mortality benefit at low drinking levels, undermining moderate drinking is safe myths. So that essentially says that people who drink a small amount of alcohol are not safe from the death toll of alcohol. It says, for example, in a meta-analysis of 4.8 million participants, low-volume drinkers, less than 25 grams a day, did not show reduced all-cause mortality versus non-drinkers. So non-drinkers are doing all right. And then you'd think that like people who only drink a little bit of alcohol would be all right too. But essentially that study says that it's not true, that any amount of alcohol does harm mortality. It says, thus, even moderate alcohol triggers risk and disrupts brain/mood enough to offset any claimed benefit. Yeah, I mean, it's just not worth it. Sometimes I think, oh, could I drink? It's just not worth it. All the bad things that can go wrong they do outweigh any good things. Like, okay, you have one fun night out and might get cancer. I know that's extreme, but it's like, it just doesn't equate in my mind. Sorry, I didn't really understand that study, but it's in here, so I thought I would share it in case it means anything to anybody listening. Number 4, it damages your gut and liver. We talk about the liver all the time, but let's not forget about your poor tummy, your gut. And I'm really enjoying on my kind of health journey that I'm on, I'm really enjoying learning about the gut and how it plays a big part in overall health. And you really do have to heal your gut if you're going to heal anything else. And poisoning your gut, I mean, the poison goes directly into your tummy. It ruins the lining of your stomach and totally throws your gut health out of whack. So that's really interesting in addition to all the organs like the liver and pancreas or whatever that see a big hit from alcohol. But okay, it says in the US, of about 85,000 liver disease deaths in people ages 12 and over, 43% involved alcohol in 2019. So if you're dying of a liver disease death, 43%, nearly half, is alcohol related. So you can die from liver-related disease without being a heavy drinker, but let's just say that you lower your risks a lot by not consuming alcohol because 43% of those deaths are essentially self-inflicted by consuming alcohol. Nearly half the people dying of liver disease did it to themselves. That is so sad to think about. Very sad. Among cirrhosis deaths in 2015, 49% were alcohol related among ages 25 to 34. And among ages 25 to 34, that figure was 76%. Okay. So amongst total cirrhosis deaths, 49% are alcohol related. So apparently you can get cirrhosis from other things. I don't know what off the top of my head, but half of cirrhosis deaths are alcohol related / self-inflicted, unfortunately. So if you're dying of cirrhosis, half the time it's because you drank booze. But that number goes up significantly in ages 25 to 34. I mean, yeah, if you're dying of cirrhosis between 25 and 34, 76% of the time that is alcohol related. So odds are if you are young and you get cirrhosis, it's because of alcohol. And that's the one, this isn't a stat, but just that's the one that I hear the most about in my comments on social media. When people say, my cousin's only 32 years old and she got this. My sister died and she got this. It's always cirrhosis. Like, young people can get cirrhosis, and that's what's scary. And also, I'm just bouncing this idea off of you guys as a sounding board because I really need to maybe consider addressing this down the road. I got my liver enzymes tested, I did blood work to see how my liver health was doing. But I didn't do an ultrasound, which is apparently the only way to see cirrhosis. But I think their theory is that if your blood work comes out healthy, which mine did, yay, then there's no need to go look at the cirrhosis. Like, your liver would have also been affected, I think is their theory. So they do the liver health test to see if you're even close to unhealthy levels. And then if you are, they would do the ultrasound, I think. But it would be interesting because that's something I've just always thought about is I wonder if I may have given myself cirrhosis. I obviously hope not. But yeah, that's a very, I don't want to say common, but if you're drinking heavy amounts of alcohol as a young person, it seems that cirrhosis is a common thing to happen. And yeah, 76% of young people who are dying from cirrhosis are having that happen because of alcohol. Okay, number 5, it impairs sleep quality. If you have not listened to our past episodes about sleep and you're interested in this topic, go back and listen to those because it's something that has completely changed my life in sobriety. I didn't even know what I didn't know about sleep. I didn't know what a good night's sleep was until I got sober. And then I was like, oh my God, I feel like I discovered the magic potion to good sleep. And it's not drinking any potion at all. It is sobriety. I used to wake up every single night between the hours of 2 and 4 a.m. like clockwork every single night. And then in sobriety, that just stopped. It took a little while because I also used to use alcohol to fall asleep, so that was an adjustment. But eventually my sleep got so good. I sleep like a baby, 9 hours a night a lot of times, and just fully sleep. I will fully sleep through the night. It's amazing. Okay. And yes, this bullet says, so while the exact number may vary, this is well supported by sleep science. The broader literature shows alcohol reduces REM and deep sleep. And yeah, that's what I've heard a lot about in my research, is that you can't get that full deep sleep. And even though for a lot of people, they think that alcohol helps their sleep. I used to be one of those people. I was like, alcohol makes me sleep so well. I just pass out until I wake up at 2 or 4 a.m. But I thought that alcohol helped me sleep because I would just pass out. I mean, I'd be watching a movie and I would just be out. I have never fallen asleep watching a movie in sobriety. I can say that with full confidence. I have never fallen asleep on the couch. I always get tired and then pause it and go sleep in my own bed. And I used to pass out on the couch all the time when I was a drinker. It was crazy. So anyway, with the REM sleep, they say that you just kind of stay in this, light sleep range. I'm not a sleep scientist, but you never get that full deep sleep. It's kind of like a nap, basically, a surface level, just nap. You're not getting that deep sleep, and therefore you're never feeling like fully rejuvenated. I think that contributes to hangovers and why you feel so groggy and tired the next day. It's because after a night of drinking, you just don't sleep well. And even if you think you sleep well, even if you pass out for 11 hours, if you have one of those watches or the Oura ring, check your sleep score after a night of drinking. I do this with my family sometimes. Like they'll, if we're all out somewhere and they drank a bit, they'll check the Apple Watch or Oura Ring or whatever to see what their sleep score was. And even if they slept all night, it'll be a bad score because alcohol was in the system. So there's your science-backed data. I mean, if you have one of those watches or the Oura Rings, it's actually crazy how much alcohol impacts your sleep. Number 6, it accelerates aging. Interesting to put this on there. I think this is a physical and internal thing. Like, again, it's not like you can say sober people live longer, although maybe that is accurate. I don't have a stat on that, so I'm not going to say that. But there are so many negative things that alcohol causes in your body that I'm sure if you abstain from alcohol, you will likely live longer. At least your chances are a little better, right? I feel that you are just biologically younger if you don't drink alcohol. It just speeds up everything. It's like everything in your body is working overtime just to keep up with your alcohol intake. And if you don't drink any at all, your body is just functioning how it's supposed to. And you will age gracefully and naturally how we're intended to, not the sped up version that alcohol causes. And yeah, let's not even get into the physical. Actually, yes, let's get into it. The physical, speeding up of aging with alcohol is shocking. Have you seen those twin studies that are like, this twin smoked, this one didn't. This one used sunscreen, this one didn't. Alcohol is like that. I'm sure there are already studies out that are like that with a twin study, but just generally, like, people who drink are going to look older. Have you ever seen somebody out and about and they just look amazing and you find out like they're significantly older than you thought and you're like, oh my God, what is your secret? They're like, I'm sober. Have you had that happen? Because I've had that happen twice. I'll share one of them. Hello, if you're listening. But this wonderful gal that I work with sometimes, she works in PR, and she is just gorgeous. And, I'm chatting with her and just kind of assuming she's near my age. She's a little older than me, but we're in the same camp, right? And then she later shares that she has a 20-year-old child, not child, a 20-year-old adult as her child. And I was like, what? You have a 20-year-old? And I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God. So you're like probably 15 years older than I thought you were. Or maybe more than that. And she told me, like, yeah, sobriety, baby. Like, her skin looks that good. She looks that good because of sobriety. It helps with the elasticity of your skin. It helps you just stay looking younger longer. And I've been shocked multiple times. Like I said, that's the one I'll share. But there have been multiple times where I'm like, how are you as old as you say you are? You look so good. And then they're like, yeah, I haven't drank in 20 years. Whoa. I mean, I hope that's me. I hope I'm her when I'm 40 something or 50 something and saying, yeah, haven't drank in 20 years. So yeah, I guess I'll be 48 when I've been sober for 20 years. So I hope I'm 48 years old and someone's like, what is your secret? You look amazing. Is it your skincare routine? Tell me. And I'm just like, honestly, I didn't drink alcohol for 20 years. So that's the secret. And you can't get that time back. You know what I mean? Like, if I quit at 48, I would have to wait till 68 to say that I've been sober for 20 years. That's why I'm always like, just do it. When you feel like you need to do it, just do it. You're never too old to do it, okay? Do it whenever. But, like, If you're 60 years old and you're thinking about getting sober, don't wait till 70. Do it now when you're thinking about it. There's no time like the present. And I don't have a great stat for this one, but alcohol's documented inflammatory and dehydrating effects are well known in dermatology and wellness communities. So anyone who studies the skin knows that alcohol speeds up aging. I mean, yeah, you're dehydrated, so the wrinkles are going to set in more. I feel like I've already done damage to that, and I'm excited to look younger. Do you know what I mean? Like, once I have been sober for 10 years, I'm excited for people to think that I look young for my age. But right now, I probably look about my age, or maybe even old, because I drank so heavily for a while. But sobriety does make you look better. I mean, my brother said that I look 10 years younger. So there you go. Even at 16 months sober, which is what I am, people are thinking I'm looking younger. I think that's highly due to losing weight as well. So anyways, lots of benefits there, physically, internally, everything. Number 7, it weakens your immune system. Many studies show alcohol impairs immune response. Examples are increased infection risk and delayed wound healing. Also, again, just a personal anecdote. I got sick a lot more when I was a drinker. And I really do think that your body is fighting so hard just to stay alive. Like the liver's working overtime just to function and keep you alive. That if you introduce disease or illness, the flu, whatever, your body is like, whoa, I do not have the extra juice needed to address this. Your body is fighting just to stay alive, so it's not prepared to fight against illness as well. That's my theory. Like a regular common cold, you're probably going to get that if you're consuming alcohol all the time. Number 8, it increases risk of heart disease and stroke. That is really unfortunate. Especially stroke. That's kind of a new fear of mine because I met somebody who's had a stroke and it's just really scary and awful. And by the grace of God, he got saved by, a good Samaritan walking by with a medical background. But it's really scary. And it's another thing that we don't really know the cause of. I do think a lot of people associate stroke with diet because it's like clogged arteries, right? I don't know all the medical, details of it. But, your blood can't get to the brain or something. I don't know. But I think a lot of people associate it with diet. And then we just kind of like throw alcohol out the window. Well, alcohol can cause it too. Heart disease and stroke. Neither of those things are good. I sure as heck don't want either of those. And it's kind of like, even if alcohol doesn't cause stroke, okay, we can never say that. Alcohol doesn't cause strokes. But if you can avoid something to drastically decrease your risk of getting a disease or having something catastrophic happen, wouldn't you want to do that? I mean, cigarettes have become that, right? Like for me, a cigarette is not worth it. There's way too many bad things that it causes. The aging, the lung cancers, different cancers, all sorts of stuff that I'm not really interested in getting. So I've chosen to not do cigarettes. I'm 29 years old. I was born in 1996. So, 90s baby, early 2000s, cigarettes were already seen as like a bad thing. So for my kids, I don't have any kids, but my eventual kids, my future kids, will they grow up thinking or like with the knowledge that alcohol is bad for you? I don't know. It's just not worth it is what I'm saying. Like if you cannot drink alcohol and avoid all of these different health things that we're talking about in this episode, wouldn't you want to do that? It's crazy. Like we always look for these supplements that are going to save us. This particular thing you can do or eat or whatever. And then it's like this one giant thing is sitting right in front of us that causes so many diseases and awful things, cancers and all this that we're talking about. And all you have to do is not do it. You don't even have to do anything. It's not some magic pill. It's not working out every day, although you should probably do that too. It's just not drinking. This one thing can save you of so much. Imagine that. Number 9, younger people are affected too, and sooner than you might think. Oh boy. Hospitalization rates for alcohol-associated hepatitis in young adults rose from 106 to 144 per 100,000 persons in recent study. 106. Okay. So hepatitis associated with alcohol grew from 106 to 144 of 100,000. Okay. So hepatitis is something that I always forget about. And when I did my liver blood test, my doctor was like, let's test you for hepatitis as well. And apparently you get a shot for that, right? Like when you're younger. But my blood test came back and showed that I was not immune to it. So like whatever vaccine I took didn't make me immune. And apparently that is common. So anyway, very interesting that alcohol-related hepatitis is rising, and it can happen. I don't associate alcohol with hepatitis, but it's a thing. Okay. Next bullet. Decompensated alcohol-associated cirrhosis increased most in ages 20 to 29, from 31 to 36%. Okay. So yeah, it's just even higher. Like if you're dying of these things at young age, it's likely because of alcohol, and that is rising. So maybe that's showing our direction as a society. Like it's weird because I feel like more people are getting sober and more people are becoming aware of the risks of alcohol. But maybe that's not true. Maybe we're drinking more as a society, which is scary. During the COVID-19 pandemic, for ALD-related mortality, is that alcohol liver disease? Okay. In women ages 25 to 34, there was a 38% increase from 2019 to 2020. In men ages 25 to 34, a 51% increase. Sheesh. Okay, I mean, I could do a whole episode on the COVID stats with drinking. Because I don't know about you guys, but COVID, woo-wee, that kicked me into high gear. And I don't think I was alone. I mean, everyone talks about the COVID deaths being, COVID deaths from COVID. But no one really talks about the alcohol-related deaths. So many people picked up their drinking or intensified their drinking during COVID. And, apparently the mortality rate from alcohol-related diseases significantly increased during the COVID-19 pandemic. 38% for women, 51% for men. Crazy. Sorry, I'm reading these from an article, so, some of them are not 100% making sense to me, but hopefully they're making sense to you. Okay? I mean, that one's essentially just saying that more people died of an alcohol-related death during COVID, which is very scary. And COVID did some serious harm to our society, whether it was death during COVID because of an alcohol-related disease or just causing drinking problems. Alcohol sent my drinking problem into the next ether. It got so much worse during COVID because all of a sudden it was, no job. Let's just drink all day. Why not? There's no rules in place. I can just drink from 8 a.m. Who cares? It was horrible. And number 10, the last one. It's highly addictive by design, and it hijacks the reward system. This is something that bothers me so much. Okay, I'm going to quick tangent here. Alcohol is starting to be seen as addictive, but marijuana also is so addictive, and it bugs the crap out of me that our society says that it's not an addictive substance. I have seen firsthand how weed affects people and how they will be unable to function if they don't get their fix in the morning. It is highly addictive, in my opinion. So that just irks me and it bothers me. But anyway, alcohol is highly addictive too. And let's get into that, because we think about, heroin and like hard drugs being the really addictive ones that put you out on the street. I bet a lot of those people started with alcohol. And when alcohol didn't do it for them anymore, they upgraded, Alcohol is very, very addictive. And yes, physically, because we all know that there's withdrawal symptoms when you're giving it up. Like physically, it is addictive. But I know for me, I chased that feeling, that like mental high almost, especially because it would just calm my system. It would empty the thoughts in my brain. It would make me what I considered a normal functioning adult in society. It would like bring me back down to earth, and I needed that. I thought that I could not function without it. And for a while, I literally called alcohol my medicine. When I was trying to taper down my alcohol intake, I tried to do that because I wanted to like be safe, which is important, but you should talk to a doctor, not try to taper down on your own. But anyway, I tried to taper down on my own, and I would call alcohol my medicine, like just to stay alive, have a beer, right? Like I would try my hardest to not drink, and then like every 4 hours or 5 hours or something, I would have one Coors Light just so I didn't, kill myself while trying to do something good for my body and get sober. So anyway, physically, mentally, psychologically, alcohol dependence is very much a thing. It's very addictive, and a lot of people get addicted to that. I shouldn't call it a high. It's more of just a relaxation, a coming down to earth. A lot of people chase that, just that relief that alcohol gives. And people need it physically and emotionally. It's crazy. It's very addictive, and it should be considered up there with cigarettes and vaping. We all know that vaping's horrible for you and highly addictive, and one of the hardest things to quit. Alcohol is too. Heroin, cocaine, all these hard drugs are very hard to quit and are considered very, very addictive. So is alcohol, and it needs to be looked at as that. It needs to be viewed in our society as highly addictive. Like if you're going to start drinking, just be aware of its addictive nature. And if you are somebody who gets attached to things and has that addictive personality, just know that alcohol is not special just because everybody in society does it. Just because it's socially acceptable to have a glass of wine at dinner or go out with friends and cheers and do a shot and whatever, doesn't mean that it's not addictive. It's very addictive, and I feel like people should know that from the first sip, just so you might get addicted to this and it might ruin your life. If you know the risks and you're aware of that and you want to proceed, go ahead. But I feel like it should not be seen as such a casual thing. There's such a huge impact that alcohol has on our society. And it should be taken more seriously. So thank you for listening to this, a bit of a heavier episode. Thank you for listening. I think it's important to talk about this. Everything I said was intense. It's a harsh take on alcohol consumption, but it's how I feel. And I don't think alcohol should be taken so lightly. It has a huge impact on our society and our health, physically, internally, mentally, everything. And I truly think that people should start talking about it so that, like I said, if you want to drink, go right ahead. But you should at least be entitled to the facts. You should get to know the potential harmful effects of alcohol before you take that first sip. And I just don't think it's talked about enough. I don't think it's viewed like cigarettes or hard drugs or vaping. Like, society's just agreed that alcohol is fine because life is hard, right? Life is really hard. And alcohol helps us get through life, And I think people have just kind of agreed that, life is tough. Everyone needs a little alcohol. Everyone needs a little break now and again. So alcohol is that. But life can be really, really good and way better in sobriety. And you can live a longer, happier life and create a life that you don't need to drink to get through. So anyway, alcohol is not good for you, bottom line. Share it with a friend, okay? Let the people know some of these facts. Alcohol is bad for you. And it's not worth it, in my opinion. Maybe consider sharing this episode with somebody who might find it interesting. And on that note, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on Thursday for another episode. If you didn't already know, The Sober Scoop releases new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. We also have a private Facebook support group that you are welcome to join. It's free, and the link is always in the show notes of each episode. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time. Bye.